Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you see by the title in today's video, we're going over the badges you need on your finisher or slasher, whatever the title may be. Now, real quick, I'm just showing you the VIP stats. I just want to show you that I, while putting you on to my advice, want to show you that I truly am somebody I feel like you should be listening to, or at least has good recommendations, alright? Now, anyway, enough of that. I just want, and it's also been a minute since I've shown you guys that stuff as well. But anyway, we got 20 finishing badges. I feel like that's a pretty solid amount that, while I was looking at all the other builds, a lot of them have about this amount. Now, if you have a little bit more, a little bit less, I would suggest to put a couple of these things higher or lower, whatever it may be. And I'm here to explain how I feel about every single badge here. Now, believe it or not, okay, so here's what I'm going to start with, and this is going to be a very non-related thing to what a lot of you guys think, but this is just a little nugget of information here. So, putback boss. Having this on bronze enables putback dunks, alright? So, I didn't know that all year. I mean, I guess I did know it, but bro, I've been so, like, lazy to putting this on and just testing it out. And yes, bro, putback boss on bronze is legit. Just, it's all you need it on, in my opinion. If you want to go higher on it, I suppose, but just a cool little bit of information for you guys to know about. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about the ones I have activated first, then I'll talk about the ones that I don't have activated. Now, the one that I don't have activated as well that I feel like maybe is to be advocated for is probably fancy footwork, maybe a little bit of pro touch too, but everything else, honestly bro, I feel like all this stuff when it comes to being a slasher is trash. Now, obviously what's the most related thing to being a slasher is probably also teardropper, if you're not talking about just straight up dunking on people. But I don't know, I just feel like this badge is so worthless. But anyway, like I said, I'm here to talk about the ones that I do have activated first. Now, obviously, contact finisher. You might as well just put a lock on this thing. It's never going anywhere except for Hall of Fame. That's just a fact. Now, since I learned about slithery finisher as well, that's another thing that's locked for me. It's never going anywhere, in my opinion. So I'm here to talk about the truth of all these badges, and in my opinion, what slithery finisher does, a lot of people like to think that it says avoids contact when attacking the rim. I feel like what it does is it gives you more of the twisty contact dunks. A lot of people think it means that you're gonna take more layups than, or it's gonna like, they think it means that you don't get contact dunks, essentially. That's not the case, not at all. I think these give you just a more variety of contact dunks, when the one that you would get when you originally had your stiff no slithery finisher activated, you wouldn't, it activates the ones you would get if you didn't have that, basically. That's how I feel about slithery. Anyway, acrobat. I want to talk about acrobat. So I always took this off because I was like, at the beginning of the year, I was like, why would you even have acrobat when there's fancy footwork, and, you know, hop dunks are just by far so much more OP. And I would always talk about acrobat and I'd be like, but who's really just gonna on purpose take a Euro step layup this year? Here's the thing too, it don't really work like that, because when you try to do a hop dunk and you don't dunk, this is the badge that instantly pops up. Fancy footwork, I don't know, me personally, we'll get into this badge later, but I feel like it's not exactly the best badge. I feel like it's a little bit overrated, just at the fact that hop dunks are so OP. And I'll put this on if I'm doing 1v1 court, just because it's such a mass variety of things I can have. Like, for instance, when I'm on the 1v1 court, I'm usually rocking something like this, where I have, let's say, that, or, you know, maybe I'll have Hall of Fame acrobat, something like this, or I'll even just go something like this. I don't know, long story short, I don't use fancy footwork when playing as a screen setter or anything like that, because I just feel like it's not in my suit of badges. Now, in case you're new to the channel, this is my play style. I am a screen setting big man, but when I get my takeover on, I go crazy, alright? I put it like that. Now, I don't go out of my way to do anything otherwise, because I play with very good guards who are very capable of, you know, running the pick and rolls. And at 6'9", it's really easy to run big man with this build as well. But regardless, one thing I will say is, for a normal person who doesn't really do mass pick and rolls, I don't think Lob City Finisher is even a necessary badge to have. Maybe on bronze, but I'll put it like this, bro. If you're not constantly being guarded by the big man or running the 3 spot, you don't need Lob City Finisher. Just keep it on bronze. My opinion on this badge is, it doesn't, and this is, like I said, these are all my opinions. If you have disagreements, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. But my opinion on Lob Finisher is, it doesn't really help you get more animations for dunks. It just helps you make them when you catch the ball. Now, it says the shot must be taken before the receiver lands. I don't know what that even means, but anyway, long story short, with all this said, now if you're more of a ball handler, I can see why you would want a little bit of fancy. like I said though, I feel like people generally get the idea of fancy kind of messed up between like how OP the hop dunks are. Now, like I said as well, I think in previous videos I've talked about how Long Athlete as a layup package literally will do what you think fancy footwork does, but just at the fact that the animation that it gets on the hops is literally what you probably think fancy footwork does, and that's just where I stand on this. Now, like I said, if you ever see me rocking this badge, it's probably in a situation where I'm not catching any lobs, I'm not setting any picks, I'm straight ISOing, and and at that point I just don't need any other badge. Now, we'll talk a little bit more. I've already talked about Acrobat, Lob City Finisher, Slithery, and Contact. Now, consistent versus Pro Touch. I want to talk about this a little bit. So, why I don't use Pro Touch anymore. I used to before I even knew about Slithery and just badges ran out. If you got 30 badges, maybe put it on. But here's my thing with Pro Touch. I think Pro Touch is literally just... I think it's literally just for post hooks, and that's it. Now, because... I mean, unless you're just a god at timing your layups. But this is my thing. I want to say every single layup I've ever got, at least 95% of them, always say late, and I've never really got an early. I maybe get very early if I like was holding it for a lob and then let go of it because I caught the ball, but then I get like a very early on it. But like I said, I don't ever get very lates. I don't get anything other than just literally regular late every single time. And I just feel like Pro Touch is really more of like a post scores badge, and it combines very well with the deep hooks. But I feel like consistent finisher for a slasher is definitely the move. I mean, if you're trying to contact dunk somebody, the thing is, you're definitely not prepared to time your layup properly. And in my opinion, I mean, I consider myself to be a very good slasher, but I'm not good enough to the point where I'm just going to time my layup every single time I see that meter pop up and know how to do it because it's such a random meter timing. And it's simple as that. Now, anyway, like I said, consistent. I usually rock this on Hall of Fame. I was messing around with it, like not on at all. And bro, I was not liking that at all. I had a sub suggest that, and I don't know. They suggested to just take Pro Touch and consistent completely off just to add to more badges because they feel like the other ones had more of an impact. No, bro. This consistent is the truth, and I promise you that. Now, what do I use Relentless for? I'll put it like this. And like I said, this video is to detail a lot of the badges and how I feel about them. Relentless, I use it on the 1v1 court because you do get fatigued very fast, and I would put this to like maybe gold. Maybe I usually try to keep it like silver or lower on anything, but on Team Pro-Am usually around silver. Team Pro, the longer the game, I'll put it like this: the longer the game and the more involved you are in actually dunking the ball, the more you're gonna want this badge, because the more you get tired as well in that game mode, bro. It's so basically, here, I'll explain it like this. 2v2 and 3v3, I usually only rock this on bronze. It's simple as that. Now, in Team Pro-Am and 1v1 court, in 1v1 sometimes I put this on Hall of Fame, but it's kind of tough to like fit all that in. For instance, I'll use this, or maybe if I want some fancy, I'll just drop this and this to like put it to around that. But anyway, long story short, what I'm saying is, I really do think Relentless is a solid badge, but it's not anything to put a lot of focus into and like put it at a very high level. I usually keep it around bronze. I'll put it like that. But anyway, so we've already talked about Pro Touch. Putback Boss, like I said, you got to keep this on bronze, unless, like I was talking about the 1v1 court, obviously there's no point of having this. Giant Slayer, I want to talk about this. I'm going to give you the heights and what you have to be in order for this badge to activate. So, as you can see, boost the shot percentage for a layup attempt when when mismatched against a taller defender, and reduces the possibility of getting blocked. So, me being 6'9", what this works on is strictly 7'3" bigs. I've noticed that, and I'm glad I made my dude 6'9" too, because it gives me a good understanding of the height discrepancy you need to be at. So, me at 6'9", it only activates against 7'3" bigs. Now, is this a good badge to have? I don't know, bro. Honestly, at the end of the day, I really think this is a great badge. I use it on my 6'5" Pure Lock on gold because I don't get Hall of Fame finishing badges. And then I also have a Slash Sharp at point guard who I keep this on Hall of Fame on as well, but that dude's 6 foot. It activates for everybody, so that's like the big advantage of it. So long story short, when should you have this badge? I feel like if you're a shorter driving guard, this thing needs to stay on Hall of Fame, because at the end of the day, it's true. It does prevent you from getting blocked a good amount. It allows you to make BS layups a good amount, and the shorter you are, the better. Now, like I said, at 6'9", it's an okay badge to have. At 6'10" or higher, completely take this out of your repertoire at all, because it's just not gonna activate ever. I'm so serious. It literally will never activate because you have to be 6 inches shorter than your opponent or the person you're going against, basically, like the person you're trying to take it up on. So really, at 6'6" to 6'9" is not really the best idea to have it on. If you're 6'5" or lower, constantly have this badge on. But like I said, 6'9", it kind of depends like what playstyle you're playing. I need to play with this more on the 2v2 a little bit, to be honest, but I just don't want to. Here's my thing is, I don't want to waste 4 badge points into it if through a whole game it's never going to activate. I think it's a great badge, but like I said, the oftenness of me playing against a 7-3 is probably going to be pretty high, but when I do play against somebody that's not 7-3 and they're like 7-2 or 7-1, it's going to be a real frustrating thing that you're spending 4 badge points on something other than that's not going to activate ever. So I'll just leave it like that. But anyway, let's see. So if we're talking Drop Stepper and Back Down Punisher, obviously they're great badges, but I'm not here to really detail these too much because I'm talking about finishers. I'm not really talking about post-scoring back down bigs, but I will say Back Down Punisher is a dog badge, bro. It is mean. It's a great badge, and it really does its job. Like, you don't really need strength in order to back people down if you have Back Down Punisher. That's my opinion. Like I said, I know a lot of people may disagree. They feel like strength is a big deal. I don't really think it is, personally. But anyway, then Drop Stepper, we all know, is just insane. Pick and Roller. I was originally a big hater of this badge at the beginning of the year because I felt like, you know, I was going to get so many easy buckets to the point where I was just going to be able to just slip, and anytime that I score was never going to be off an actual pick. Now, I didn't realize 7-3 bigs were going to be the move in this game. Now, do I ever activate this badge? Not really, but I can see why in a traditional big man's, or not big man, but I'll put it like this. If you're a forward who sets picks or a big, I would maybe use this badge on like probably bronze, just because again I don't want to waste badge points on it if I'm not going to score off it sometimes. But if you're not the highest IQ big, definitely try to put this a little higher because in my opinion I just don't need it because I have very good opportunities of scoring other than just to set a pick and then go. And if I ever do that, my build's pretty fast too, so that's why I keep Lob Finisher higher, because if I set a good enough screen and the big man has to help out, then I get an easy cut to the basket, and it really just comes down to an alley-oop. Now, is this badge good for maybe if your guard is a little lower high IQ as well and doesn't really throw lobs when you're wide open? And I shouldn't say wide open, but like when somebody's trailing you, do they throw lobs? If not, maybe this is the badge to put on because it'll help you finish a lot more BS. Now, anyway, moving along. What do we still have to talk about? The cross key score, garbage, trash, completely. Don't even touch that badge. Anyway, and then Showtime. I went into the year really excited for Showtime because I was thinking like, oh my god, yo, you know how many times I'm about to get like an easy slip and then I just flashy dunk and we all get takeover? Now, you really don't get all that great of takeover. Now, if this counted toward contact dunks too, I would definitely rock this a little higher. Like, let me think what I would do. I'd probably go something like this right here, and then honestly, I think Relentless would just have to be cut out of the equation. Maybe just if I'm playing as a true like screen setting big, maybe completely deactivate Acrobat and then go with something like this. But like I said, I just don't think Showtime is really the best badge. If you're a pure finisher and you got a lot of points, maybe this is worth it as well. Plus the amount of like BS dunks you're gonna be able to make with 99 driving dunk and then like on takeover 109. Honestly, this could be a solid badge, especially if you want to propel your teammates to being able to get their takeover on. But I don't know. Regardless, like I said, this is about what I work with. Now, like I said, sometimes if I'm playing with like, you know, other guards, I'll probably do something like this. If I'm playing as an ISO scorer, I'm going like Hall of Fame Acrobat, Silver Relentless, probably some fancy, maybe even drop Acrobat to gold and then go silver fancy. Or like I said, sometimes I just feel like fancy, I don't know, I've been dancing back and forth on whether I think fancy footwork is a good badge or not, and it's tough to figure out because whenever you hit some like crazy hop and you're like, oh, I feel like that's fancy activating, and then like when you don't have it on and you still hit that crazy hop, you're like, oh, I don't need fancy footwork. It's simple as that. I just feel like I don't really know what to think of this badge, bro. I really don't. Because, I mean, the description of it says players get past defenders more efficiently when performing Euro, Cradle, Hop Step, Spin, and Half Spin gathers. I don't know, bro. It talks about getting past somebody, and I just feel like, I don't know. It's a very confusing badge, bro. Maybe I underestimate it, but maybe, and then sometimes I overestimate it. I don't know. It's so tough to gauge. But anyway. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, all the good stuff. Turn on them noties as well if you really enjoyed. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown. Oh yeah, and then fast break finisher. I forgot this as well. Trash badge as well. I was really wishing this would be useful, especially for all them lockdowns out there, or the 3 and Ds who go with a little bit of finishing. That this would be a great badge to have, or even on your point guards who get easy transition takes because they're guarding ball. I just feel like the takeover progress that you get and your teammates get just isn't worth having. But I will say, I haven't tested this. I haven't seen it firsthand since the new patch. So I don't know, maybe they touched it, maybe they didn't. I'm expecting they didn't, but I don't know. Just a small tidbit of information. Like I said, I feel like I have a really good gauge on a lot of these badges. And the only one that I really don't know, and it's so mysterious, is fancy footwork, bro. Like, I have a pretty good idea of the fact that Pro Touch is just so hard to activate. Consistent constantly pops up, and I just think that. Putback Boss on bronze, that's definitely the sleeper thing to do. Lob Finish, you don't need it the highest, but my playstyle, I tend to have this on a really high level. Showtime is trash. Deep Hooks doesn't really correlate to my build, but it's a great badge. Same with, like I said, Pro Touch exists with Deep Hooks very well. Back Down Punisher, great badge, but I don't really utilize it. Giant Slayer, 6'9" or lower, it works for it, and if you're below 6'5", I recommend putting this on at all times. Teardropper, trash. Like I said, I got a pretty good idea for like how I feel about all these badges, and it's so instilled in my brain. So if you disagree, I understand. If you want to leave your feedback, I would appreciate that as well. Just let me know what you think. And honestly, what I've learned a lot through this game is that feedback has improved my thought process on a lot of these badges. I didn't even know about Slithery, and my dude, I think it was Pat. I think it, or shoot, I forget which of my subs it was. But anyway, long story short, somebody suggested me to put Slithery on. I thought they were crazy. I put it on, and now I'm never taking it off because, like I said, it's just so game-changing for dunking the ball. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed. Like I said, if you could leave a like, sub if you're new, all that good stuff, turn on them noties. If we could get this to like 1,000 likes, that'd be super tight. I would appreciate that. And if you made it to the end of the video, put Slasher Gang in the comments if you made it to the end. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.